Right now, maybe we're Derek Okahashi from YouTube and Mahe Kahale from YouTube, but we want you to know a little bit more about us.
We want to do real estate with you. That's our channel. We're ambassadors of Aloha, and we are maniacs about real estate, right?
Yeah. In the vein of wanting to make sure that you are picking the right person, we want to really make sure that you get to know us on a more personal level. That way, when we have that virtual consult, when we meet in the office for coffee, almost every person I have like a consult with who comes through YouTube, it's like, I feel like I know you already. That's what I love the most, I think, about YouTube and about our clients who we get through YouTube. It's like they already know us.
You know, we want to give it to you all. If there's more questions for a part 2 that you have, we'll do a part 2. We want you to get to know us, let you see behind the curtain of our business, our motivations, our style. And if you stay tuned till the end, you probably actually get to see me cry. Because choosing a real estate agent is an intimate and very serious decision, right?
You're looking for somebody who you trust and like to help you make one of the biggest decisions of your life and do it in the most informed way you can.
The thing with real estate, we're all taught this is how you prospect and sell people. Not just sell to, but you sell them on yourself. This is a video that allows people to make a decision to invest and partner with us. We're selling ourselves right now, but we're doing it our way. Because don't get me wrong, you're gonna hear in this video, like we are maniacal, obsessed with real estate. It's what we do, and we want to kill. Like we want to crush. We want to crush your goals. There's people out there who are literally watching either don't know we're real estate agents or aren't connecting. Like one guy said, "Oh, I figure you're too famous." That's actually pretty cool. You think that? But hit us up.
Yeah,
if you like this video, hit us up.
Please reach out to us. We love it. We want to hear from you guys. We love the feedback. Don't think that, oh, they got a YouTube channel, they don't got time for whatever. Like, no.
Mahe is too famous. I'm not. Weirdos, do not contact Mahe or any other female on my team directly. If you're a male, you can go to our website, register. We'd love to help you. FYI, if you have other motives, I will be on the showings. I'll be present. I'll be a part of the communications. We've experienced an uptick in unwanted communication.
Even my brother, who is always like, you think everybody's in love with you, like whatever. Like that's normally his first impulse to be like, whatever, you think that about everybody.
No.
He was like, I don't like it. And he even swore. He was like, I don't fucking like it. You better not fucking go to that. And then he like never
100%.
swears, right?
Females watching this, show us some love. Send your Mahe love in the comments. Girl, I got you, all of that. Males, like, of course we still want to work with you. We still want to do real estate with you. But please be respectful, you know. I will continue to ensure the proper safety measures and precautions are in place, and that's not taken lightly. I will address it full force and head on just like we are now. Okay, Mahe, 30 seconds or less. Who is Mahe from like 0 to before preteen?
On the beach every day, ehu, curly hair, wild, spoiled, loves her dad, loves her daddy.
We say ehu like everyone knows what ehu means.
Ehu means like your hair gets sun bleached from being out in the water all the time. Constantly being yelled at for not brushing her hair. Following my big brothers around, and that's pretty much it, just at the beach all the time.
Okay, so North Shore girl, beach dad, beach family, beach life. How about teenage years?
Year-round volleyball club, traveling for sports all the time, studying at Kamehameha. My parents were like keeping me in something year-round. I was a good kid. I don't know why they felt like they had to keep me out of trouble. Paddling, surfing, volleyball, that was life.
Post-high school?
I married my high school sweetheart. We got married, had babies, bought a house, moved from island to island, Molokai, Maui, Molokai again, Oahu. Amicably divorced, co-parent really well.
Yeah.
Still family, love that. Love him, love our family.
Where are you at today?
I packed up my life, my kids. We moved from Maui, where we were for like a decade, to Oahu. Made the decision and commitment to throw all of my energy into really building a new life and future for us, and that's where the ball got rolling for real estate, and that's kind of what brought me to where I am right now. What about you? Give us baby Derek.
Born in Florida, didn't know the difference in, Hawaiian, mainland, whatever. Used to watch the movie North Shore. I knew my dad, like we were different, but my mom's side, like really Southern, dirt roads and mudding and stuff, Southern. Mudding, like going off-road. Hawaii's like sand, like big truck on the beach, like big truck in like Kahuku mud.
Okay.
Anyways, super Southern, and then I put into baseball, super serious about baseball. Fished with my dad, they divorced at a young age. I was just like this little Southern kid.
And then how old were you when you moved to Hawaii?
So I started coming to Hawaii when I was 9 or 10. And the first time was just like a couple weeks, and I was young, and I was kind of like, great, that was amazing. But like, I'm still like attached to my mom and whatever. The second summer, I stayed the whole summer, from like within the week I got off of school to just a few days before school went back into session. Went to summer fun in Makakilo, and then I came back and I was like, wanted to wear slippers at school. And you cannot do that over here. And like, I had a booyah. You know,
oh my God, you did not have a booyah.
A booyah is you're shaved here and you have the hair with a ponytail.
Oh my God.
I had like the booyah, which wasn't the thing in Florida.
Yeah, it was. I'm still mad it was a thing here.
Yeah, I know. So I went back to Florida and I was like, where's the Hawaiians? There's no Hawaiians. I'm like Hawaiian, Japanese, white. Found out we were Filipino later anyways, but there wasn't that there. So I was like the Vietnamese and Filipino kids, and that's who I hung out with for that year. And then the next summer I stayed, and I was 12 when I made the decision to stay in Hawaii. Into the teen years, so that's going like Hawaii. I'm like, we've talked about the terms that you guys have for being like extra Hawaiian. That was me, because I was like, I got 10 years to make up for of not knowing where my home was. Like when I first moved to Hawaii, they're like, bro, like you look like us, but you don't talk like, bro, where are you from? Within like 6 months, everyone started to forget I was the guy from the mainland, certainly by high school. Even to this day, but oh yeah, I forgot you was from the mainland. Quit baseball to surf.
Oh yeah,
I quit volleyball to surf too. My dad disowned me because we had issues. I almost moved because he was he was like, I left Hawaii to not be a beach bum, because he was literally a Waikiki beach boy. I'm not gonna let you, like I'm not gonna move you to Hawaii so you can be that. Now we laugh about it. Post high school, obsessively partied, because I'm obsessive over things. Then I joined the Coast Guard. Well, I got married at like age 23. My girlfriend from Hawaii came with me in the whole Coast Guard venture, so we got married, and I started a business around Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu became my surfing. That was life until 30, went into the medical field, did well and excelled, but then came back to Hawaii, started real estate, and threw all of that obsession into this. So who I am today, dad, team leader in real estate. That's really it, actually. I needed to get surfing, jiu-jitsu, something back in there.
Single working mother. It's one thing to be a single mother, but a single working mother is like a whole other beast. So, I mean, if you look at my Instagram bio, it's like mom, lift, tattoos, surf.
This guy, I talked to him yesterday. He's like, yeah, I saw you, the girl with the tattoos. Mahee. Special announcer, it's Mahe, right?
Mahee, yeah.
Like not throwing shade, not mad, but it's Mahe, not Mahee, not Mahee. So yeah, he was like, oh yeah, the girl from your channel with all the tattoos. So tell us about the vibe, the tattoos, the piercing.
I don't even know how, people ask me that all the time, and it's just like, really, I just love it. Imagine having like your favorite artist. You want to like buy this piece of art to hang in your home. Like, okay, imagine being somebody who moves like 20 times a year and not having a home to like keep those things in. I have an artist who creates one-of-a-kind pieces of art for me, specifically for me. And I get to hold them with me and keep them with me forever and hang them on my body. So of course a lot of them have very deep, meaningful, you know, background stories, which I don't really even get into with anybody, really. They're all made for me, made for specific parts of my body, with me in mind and my life and my story in mind. Like, my tattoo artist has known me forever, since I was like married and like just had the one baby, and you know, through my whole transition into who I am today. And my art, a lot of the pieces are like a reflection of the different journeys that I have been on since I've known him. So
what about like this? Like what's up with these things?
What these things?
No, I'm not.
That's just how it is. A little bit of shiny, a little bit of blingy. I'm a pretty brown girl. I like to have a little pop of something, a little twinkle. Tattoo culture in Hawaii is like, tattoos have always been a huge part of the culture here.
I have mainland roots, and my family lives in the mainland. When I see a heavily tatted person in Tennessee or Florida or even California, where I lived for a little over a decade, it's a different thing. It's not modernly pop cultural, it's like deeply rooted historically cultural, right?
Yeah, my kid's dad, actually, my ex-husband, that's what they do, is they do their traditional Hawaiian uhi, so we call tattoos uhi in Hawaiian. So they do uhi work. If I want or need something meaningful, like if I'm going through a trial or something and I need some centering or I need some advice or help, like that's what I'll do. I'll get uhi from them. It's all tapped like this. So
is it more so? Have you ever done the needle type kind?
Yes.
The
So
gun?
most of my work is gun work, but then my right leg has my alaniho, which is all tapped. That's your genealogy. This type of tattoo, gun work, is like a hot needle being like dragged on your body for like a long time, and then you like just acclimate to it. Uhi, like tap work, is different because it's like up and down, and so the pressure of them like hitting is hard, and like you can get bruised from that because they do have to like hit it hard to like permeate your skin.
Okay.
But it doesn't like drag. It's like a up and down, and then they move the tool. So it's just different. But also the experience is different because it's like spiritual. Like you drink, they do ava, you drink ava, they'll like chant and do oli over you. So it's a very spiritual experience. So you don't really even think about the physical like pain of it because the purpose for which it's being done is very meaningful, so you kind of just don't really think about that. What would you describe your fashion and your style? So because you're not in a tux, you're not
lacking. You know, it's interesting. I owned basically a clothing and lifestyle company, but I have no swag. Like I don't buy Jordans and Air Force Ones or even keep my Vans super clean. We can't really talk about my vibe because there's no vibe. When I started selling a lot of real estate, a couple of people in the office told me like, hey, bro, you're like getting up there, you gotta dress nicer. And I was like, why? I don't know, I would say simple. I think it's kind of a take it or lick an authenticity, right? So I think people probably on this channel that are fans and decide to work with us, it's because of the authenticity. But I like it when I put on a suit like twice a year, it's fun. It's, you know, you feel good. If I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be for me because I want to.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna go put on a suit because I'm showing someone a $5 million condo unless I decide to. So I don't know, I guess it's just I do me. And what me normally is comfortable.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, when I first got into real estate, I had a couple of my like mentors, I guess, in the early stages, tell me like you should cover your tattoos, you should take your piercings off, you should, button up and like wear a high neck and long sleeve to anytime you meet a client. And at the time, I was very brand new and was
impressionable,
just very impressionable, very like, okay,
moldable,
whatever, do whatever it takes.
Malleable.
If you're not being authentically who you are, it's hard to really like put your best foot forward in any scenario. And really, people,
they're gonna feel it.
Yeah, they'll feel it. People are gonna know that you're, a muted version of yourself.
Just following up on this period. The offer expires today at 5 p.m. period. I think that this is your most profitable option, but please advise on how you would like to move forward, period. Briefly, why real estate? You could open your own workout studio and be successful, which is another passion of yours. You could do any number of things, but why real estate?
I've never felt more pressed to grow before, and I've talked to you about this before, but that's like a high and a feeling that I chase consistently in life all the time. Is I chase that growth and it makes me uncomfortable, and sometimes like he knows, like I was like, oh my god, I feel like nauseated, but I actually purposefully like put myself in that zone because I know that the other side of that is
blessings
and real estate is super difficult and can be like emotionally, and especially for parents, like people don't really understand like how much of your brain space and your time for sure, but like even when you're not physically actively doing the work, like a lot of your brain space still stays reserved to the like numerous like high level things you constantly have going on.
It's one of my biggest challenges is being present and turning it off, for sure.
And that's hard to navigate, but people don't realize like the amount of like work and sometimes self-inflicted pressure we put on ourselves to like do it all and like be more present, but be super present with work and be super present with kids. The most gratifying part of it is seeing people win. My brother talks about it. He's like, you literally like help people make their dreams come true. Our parents didn't buy their first place until, I was in high school. They were like in their 40s and early 50s at that point, and they worked forever to get there. And, I remember the realtor who did it. I remember the person who helped her. And like my best friend, her family, when they bought their first place, they still like go and take cookies and Christmas cards to their realtor from like 30 years ago. We're doing the work. This is a thing that we love, that we work hard at every day, but like this is also like a huge pivotal monumental point in a lot of people's lives, and we get to be part of that. And that's extremely gratifying. And like you have to just like remember to be grateful of that moment too, because for a lot of people, like this may be the first time, maybe the only time they ever do this. They may have been working towards this their entire lives. Maybe they're the first person in their family to be able to be a homeowner. And we see that a lot here in Hawaii, especially. It's where we're renters. We rent forever here, you know. So when somebody buys, when a local family is able to buy or to have bought and then are now selling and are, you know, being able to put their family in a better position through this real estate, you know, investment and transaction they put themselves in, like it's huge. It's huge. And I'm very, very grateful to be able to have that experience with people. So what about you? What would you say is like the big why for you?
There's kind of two questions built in there, right? Why 1099 instead of W-2? Like why self-employed entrepreneurship, and then why real estate? And that's when people come to me and say, hey, I want to get into real estate. I ask them I sort of segment it into why this and then why this. I don't have this vibe going, and I can't even create videos in that way and whatever. Business is the art for me. I have this creativeness that I need to get out, along with the maniacal like obsession and work ethic. And the business is the art. So the seeing you succeed, seeing our clients win, being at closing day, all of that is like art through business and gratification and affecting people's lives permanently, you know, like forever. Like imagine like Jasmine then, or even Brandy, or like we're forever etched in those people's lives. It's almost like officiating someone's wedding or whatever. Like you're so etched in this big event in someone's life. That could kind of lead me into why real estate too. So when I was in the children's hospital, my confidence and my assertiveness was highly rewarded, because you have this vulnerable family whose kid has cancer, or they don't even know what's going on, but there's blood in their stool or whatever. And then when they would come into X-ray or MRI or vascular lab where I worked or whatever, like they were vulnerable and scared. And same with real estate. A lot of times people are like, I don't know where to start. Like I never bought a house, or I bought this house 10 years ago, now we need to sell and upgrade. And people want someone who's obsessively beating on their craft. They're an expert as a result, and they take control and get shit done, right? And I just find that I love it. And the whole idea of I'll work less and dress nicer and make more money and it'll be all easier, that's not, it's certainly not true, but it's the demand and the platform is just perfect. I love it. First impressions when we met each other. So when we met, you were coming over with a broker who was both of our real estate teacher. So he was coming over to our brokerage. They were like, hey, I want you to be here for this interview process. And I was doing YouTube videos that day, intentionally wearing a t-shirt and just pants and I think slippers, huh?
Yeah.
So I showed up and I know my broker, he's like, we have people interviewing this guy. So I guess I'll just go first then. My first impression, so notice the tats, notice the vibe. I would say notice the power and the mana and the confidence, but also the vulnerability. I see potential. Let me challenge and see what happens. Fast forward months, we're working together, we're partners, we're on this channel.
My first impression was, here comes this like guy, this local brada with like slippers on and a Bike Factory t-shirt. Our principal broker's like, oh, this is our top producer, Derek Okahashi. I was like, oh, word? Like, okay. You were just like intently listening to the questions that were being, you know, asked to myself and the other guy who was interviewing. And then you asked like very challenging questions to, like you didn't really talk the whole time. And I was just like, oh, I was like, this guy's just like sitting and listening or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's cool, whatever. But then you started asking questions and your questions were a lot more direct and a lot more challenging. Low-key, like a little bit scary, but at the same time, like, oh,
well, that's why I was quiet, because in the interview prior to that, they were like, you're a little intimidating. And so I was like, let me sit back.
You like like the physicality of it, like it was very subdued. Like you were purposely, like knowing you now, like I'm like, oh, he was like intentionally like trying not to make any kind, you know, like trying to just like be chill or whatever. But you asked me very, very like direct questions, but also the way you framed your questions, like gave me the the idea that like we kind of were cut from the same cloth and we kind of maybe had a similar mindset and a similar past and like how we maybe grew up and things like that. And honestly, when I came over to the brokerage, it was because I didn't feel challenged and I wanted to feel challenged. So to be like instantly challenged in that way, and it was scary but also exciting because that's what I was craving and needed. I told you this before, but like I left that interview, I went home, I called my brother and I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but like I'm gonna work with him. Like he's like, well, what is
your auntie?
Both of them.
Oh, okay.
So when I went to Maui the week after, I talked to my auntie. We were sitting in Nalu's. No, not Nalu's. Yeah, Nalu's.
Yeah,
on Maui, and she's like, so what do you think? Da da da. I was like, I don't know, this like local guy. He's like the top producer or whatever. He was in my interview. He was like asking me like any kind of questions, and like I said, I don't really know like what it even means to like work with somebody in this industry or like what it takes to like get somebody to be your mentor, but I was like, but I'm gonna figure it out, I'm gonna do it. And she just said, okay, go then.
Do you remember any other questions?
He asked the guy first, like, well, why do you want to do this?
like why real estate? Because it's not real estate, it's a mindset, right? It's a shift. It's a not employee, eat what you kill only. Not I clock out and don't bother me, but I have to build and grow and develop, and like a hunger for growth. I know it sounds woo-woo, Tony Robbins-ish, right? But if you're not extremely hungry to grow, well, I worked at Stanford in OR, in surgery with the world-renowned physicians that speak at conferences. They have a freaking thirst to get better. And that's who I want operating on me. Likewise, if I'm buying $3 million in that building, I want someone who's kind of obsessed with what they're, same way that Stanford physician is. And let's be honest, we have the ability to make the same kind of money as a Stanford physician. So you don't deserve it, and you probably won't get it unless you have that obsession.
The kid, he's probably my age or like 1 year younger, but the kid that was interviewing with me.
He's probably not in real estate anymore.
I don't think so. He's just like, no, like, I don't like to wake up early, so I want to set my schedule. And in my head, I was like,
that?
yeah. And in my head, I was like, oh, I'm gonna kill this. I was like, but make your own schedule. I was like, I want to wake up early and grind early. You know what I mean? I just have never before had such a hunger to like propel myself to a higher level, and I want to be more and do more and show my kids that they don't have to limit themselves in what they do. And I don't want to be a continuation of what every generation was before me. I want to be better because
that was the hook, right?
Yeah, because we deserve better.
So that common ground that she mentioned earlier, it was the, hey, look, I grew up poor, like was on the mainland first. Like you could probably still buy that house for like 100 grand in Florida right now. It was the hood. Like I remember one time I had a new bicycle. In the morning, it was like on the porch. My stepdad went in to use the bathroom, went out. Within 5 minutes, it was stolen. Like our stuff was always stolen. Like I was like, so I know what it's like to come from poverty. So, okay, you want to do real estate, but why? Like, what are you really trying to do, and who do you want to become? Most people get into real estate for the wrong reasons, right? I want to make my own schedule. I want to dress nice. I want to hang out at nice places, have nice lunches, take nice pictures of myself, put them on propaganda, and then make a lot of money. No, like just like the Stanford surgeon who's obsessed with like learning everything new. If you want to, you got to be a master at finance, a master at negotiating, a master at all these things if you want true success. And really, maybe 10% of the people in this industry are succeeding and eating. There's an 87% failure rate in the first 5 years. So like 13% of people make it to the 6th year.
I don't know what to do.
Thank you for watching. I'm Mahee with Core.
Yeah.
So you can do the same thing.
Hey guys, thank you for watching. I'm Mahee Kahale with Core Team Hawaii. Like, comment, subscribe. All of your moving to Hawaii needs, we got you. All right guys, see you soon.
All right, so let's talk real estate. Kind of like the memes on Instagram. Tell me how it started and tell me how it's going.
To be honest, when I first started, I like expected it to be a grind. I never watched like Selling Sunset because all my girlfriends were like, oh my God, I can like totally imagine you and you're with your clipboard, just like walking around in your cute little pencil skirt. In my brain, that was like never what it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Like I always kind of knew, I was like, no, that's not, like anybody who's successful in anything, especially something like that.
You knew that HGTV was real estate porn.
Yes.
It wasn't real.
I was like, that's not
Maybe
real.
not articulate it, but you knew that wasn't real,
Yeah.
right?
I was like, that's fake. Yes, you can make your own schedule, but if you are the type of person that I am, a lot of times that means like I'm gonna wake up and start working right away, and I'm gonna work until I go to sleep, you know? So some days it's like that. And some days it has to be like that, because if things pop off all at the same time, you have a bunch of active clients, you know, you're actively have offers out. Some days are like nice, and we can come to Salt and we can like have a matcha latte. And some days you're like, I didn't take a shower from this morning when I went to the gym. I'm sitting on the ground. It's 9 p.m. I'm firing off these docu-signs. My kids are cooking saimen for themselves. Whatever amount of work like I expected. I've never been in this type of position before where whatever the amount of work you're doing directly affects what happens to you. I mean, I was salary. It was a bad salary, and I still like was nothing I did directly affected me.
You were trading your time, not investing your time, right? And it feels better to invest your time, at least for our personality types, right? So how it started though, we're right here.
Oh my gosh, that's the building right there. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, it's the building. Not doing much, not learning much. So how it started, right? And then how it's going.
It started with me being like, I don't know if I could do this. Like, I don't know if I'm cut out for that. I've never done something like that before, to like, oh shoot, like how many escrows do we have right now? Like it's exciting, it's rewarding. What would today Mahe tell previous Mahe? I would tell her, you are so stupid for doubting yourself. You have everything it takes to kill it. You can be confident, and you can trust yourself, and you can have faith in the knowledge that you are doing everything you need to be doing to get you where you want to be. When did you like decide that you wanted to be in real estate? Like, how did you come to that place?
So I used to own, like I said, like a lifestyle brand, clothing, equipment, gear brand around jiu-jitsu. And everyone was like, they identified me as a businessman, but I didn't yet understand what that meant. So I was like, no, I'm going into healthcare and gonna do what I had set out to do at age 18 or 19. So my identity was like, no, I'm gonna be an employee and succeed at my job. Like a business hobbyist is what I saw myself. And to be fair, level of sophistication back then, I was more of a business hobbyist, but I didn't understand the paradigm shift and what I could be, like my potential, right? So when I sold my business to focus on healthcare, I said, okay, now I have a little bit of money, which wasn't much, but to me at the time, it's all relative, right? To me, it was a big sum at the time. I'm gonna figure out how to invest this in real estate. So I started listening to real estate investment podcasts, just consuming real estate. So in my job, people would be like, oh, why don't you ask Derek? Because they're like trying to figure out which loan product to use. Or should they invest in this whole life insurance product that is kind of like an investment? And so I remember this girl, Jenny, she was like, why don't you go do that? And I said, you know what? When I move back home to Hawaii, I will. So then I came home within a week or two of like landing home. I went to real estate school right across the street there. And then I proceeded to do not much for a year because I was in the wrong environment and I was only halfway in. And as you know, in this industry, when you're halfway in, a part-time realtor, it's really not even halfway there. Yeah. It's maybe 10 or 20% of the way there when you're halfway in. When I converted and went all the way in my first like 8 months or whatever, with my new mentor, my new brokerage, I got strep throat like 2.5 times. So I got it the first time, then I got it again. And then by the third time, I could feel my body like shutting down and saying like, you need to stop. At one point, our broker said we're top 100 on the island. This year, I think for sure, maybe even pushing top 50 or so. We're not in it for trophies, we're in it to help people, to grow individually, and really just have an abundant life and enrich others while they enrich us. It's the reciprocity when we have really good transactions. It's kind of hard to put into words, but yeah. When I was in real estate school, like Elliot actually, our mutual teacher, he turned around and he's like, how you know this stuff? And I was like, I listen to a lot of podcasts. You ever listen to Bigger Pockets? He's like, no. I was like, how about Real Estate Rockstars? He's like, no. I was like, I listen like probably 1,000 hours of real estate before here. That's
the difference between you and I. Is I think I went in like blind. Everything was new to me. I didn't listen to no podcast. People have been suggesting I get into real estate for a long time. Like my family all thought like, I feel like you'd be good at real estate. I feel like you'd really like real estate. The things that make me good at my other careers, like I can be kind of a social chameleon. I can communicate with lots of different people from lots of walks of life in a way that, you know, makes them comfortable.
But people usually don't know what that even means. Like, oh, you'd be good at real estate. They think, oh, because you are sociable. But it's like, no, there's real estate's like a 5 or 10 headed thing where it's like you got to be this and this and this and this and this.
I think they superficially were like, you're good with people and you're outgoing and you're talkative, but also I'm crazy. I'm maniacal with my work ethic. I'm
hungry to grow.
Hungry to grow. I love watching other people win. I
help people.
I'm competitive. I like to win. I like to, you know, I'm not afraid of confrontation I'm very like, will go to bat for people.
I wouldn't say you're confrontational.
No, I'm not afraid to go to bat for people. I'm not afraid to get into a situation that maybe is not the most comfortable if I'm going to bat for somebody. I wouldn't even say, I don't think you're confrontational, but I think like you're definitely not like the type to be like, no, like, I don't want to deal with that because it's confrontational. You're like, okay, what's up? Like, let's talk about it, you know? We differ a lot in that way. Like, I'm like, like hyped up, like hyped up in the background.
You got to get up for it.
Yeah.
I don't have to get up for it.
No.
It's like, oh, your seller or your buyer disagrees in the matter of $5,000. Call them, right? Let's talk about it. And you're a little more like, all right.
Let's think about it and let's put on
let's
put a Beyonce on and let's like. Figure it out. But that's why I like wanted to work with you, because you challenge me in ways that like okay, like this is uncomfortable for you, but do it anyway.
And that's what makes us a good mix, because sometimes, as like Colina says, like I don't put a little sugar on things when it would help it go down, right? And then you naturally have that. Regarding your cue about the haters, we get comments, and hey, by the way, haters, we love the comments. It pumps the channel up. All the comments and responses we get, you're just boosting us. I also understand the sentiment from some of the haters. Like someone came on recently, is like, hey Derek, stay on Oahu. We have enough people selling Maui because we are going to Maui this year. I get it, and I empathize. We have discussions about this. What is our mission? Who are we serving, etc. We live in a capitalistic society. If people are gonna move to Hawaii, whether it be through the military or through whatever other means, they're coming because, you know, there's a reason. There's a reason people wanna be here. We're the ambassadors of aloha I think. That's the identity. I don't think we've ever stated that, but my son's name is Duke. My dad was a Waikiki Beach Boy, and if you read about the Beach Boys, I can't wait for our Waikiki video. If you read about Beach Boys and the vibe that I get when I'm in Waikiki at like 4:30 in the morning and the sun hasn't even come up, and what Waikiki was to the world when travel was like either by boat or plane, you know, like the hate, Aloha Tower, throwing lays, there was ambassadors of Aloha, right? And I feel like that's what we are. If we have haters, whether you're from the mainland or you're local and disappointed, one of my long-term goals, and maybe we share it, I don't know, but one of my long-term goals is to create like a wealth academy. And I think that's where like you and I like kicked it off, because I was like, look, I understand where you came from. I come from similar. If you really want to change your family's trajectory, you have to be aiming there, not here, because I also have a goal of taking care of my father in late age, which you are doing now as well. And that's one of our goals, is to help more people win who aren't winning through a wealth academy and online training, seminars, events. But right now, we are ambassadors of Aloha, and I don't think my Hawaiian role models or people that I look up to, whether historically or present day, would have a problem when framed that way.
Personally, it's like a hard line to walk sometimes. While on the one hand, it's like, oh, this is just somebody who has something negative to say and it's okay. But on the other hand, you do kind of take it to heart, because you do feel like, I hate that person thinks that about me, or I hate that that's what they think I'm about, because you're not. We are not the type of team who is just like, no, we don't want to work with you because this, or we don't want to work with you because that. It's like the people we work with, whether they are local people here, whether they are people moving over, whether, whatever it may be, local people moving back, there's such like a mutual respect. They enjoy who we are, they like our authenticity, and it allows us and it affords us the ability to be that way, to not just like sell them this ideal aloha whatever of like Hawaii. It allows us to be authentic, it allows us to pull in our personal experience, it allows us to share these things with them. And in doing so, we're able to kind of like help people come into it more educated, help people come from a place of respect off the bat, help people understand what it really means to be from Hawaii, to live in Hawaii now, to call this place home.
Your vibe attracts your tribe, right? And if we are ambassadors of aloha, which our core values in our company, literally there's an acronym, aloha. We're ambassadors of aloha, and we attract aloha and bring aloha and magnify and disseminate aloha. I'm proud of that.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
actually proud of clarifying that through this video, because I never framed it that way, and that's really what we are. Hopefully this brings some clarity to what our mission really is. One weird thing about you, or like unusual, people might not know, because if you don't go, I'll go. I'll tell you. About you. Interesting then, something interesting about you.
People may not know that I used to be like 255 pounds.
Singing that. Okay, so you've lost over 100 pounds.
Like 100 pounds. There's a time in which I did all of it. I was like, had babies at home and was like going through a divorce and all these things. So a lot of people who I'm connected with, like on socials and stuff like that, that's how they came to me. It was from this like mutual, like woman to woman, like how do I strengthen myself? How do I bring myself up? And so a lot of the people who I'm connected with now actually came through that, through like fitness and lifestyle and personal growth, especially for like moms and single moms too.
Do you have a real estate horror story?
I mean, we just kind of had one not that long ago. There is a very real, I'm strong, I'm big, like nobody's gonna mess with me, you know, like you think that, but there is a real like safety issue, and especially for like women and women in our industry, especially where we do a lot of like meeting with clients and like showing properties and maybe being in unfamiliar situations with unfamiliar people. There is a level of like sketch to it. Sometimes your gut instinct kind of like flashes when something is not right.
So real estate horror story is weird, guys.
Yes.
Guys, stop being weird.
And it's hard too, because you don't know. You're like, maybe he's just like a little bit weird, and like, but he really does need help. So it's hard to like know which are the like the weirdos who just need help and are just like a little bit weird, because like I'm like kind of awkward too, or like the weirdos who just have like no real estate needs at all, but just want to be weirdos. Typically, I'll just text that over to you and be like, oh, what do you think about this? Is this like just a little bit weird, or is this like red flag?
We gotta be vulnerable on something.
But like everything makes me cry. I have a very low crying threshold. I was just gonna talk about it, and I'm like a little bit misty already. I lost my mom at a pretty young age. I was 18 years old, and I'm gonna get misty now.
Even mine's starting.
But one of my most like cherished memories with my mom, she wasn't a very good singer, but she was a very good musician. So she played guitar, she played banjo even, and she loved artists like the Beatles and Crosby Stills. Growing up, she like loved my singing voice, and I sing, like I love singing. I grew up singing, in choir, all those things.
Please don't do it here.
I won't do it. I don't want to like have too many people over here, so.
That's gonna be everyone's reason to cry.
I won't say. So music can make me cry, because a lot of songs like remind me of her and remind me of the time that we spent together. And there's this one song in particular, Blackbird by the Beatles, which just like, I can be in a grocery store, I can be like literally anywhere. I can be at Disneyland having the time of my life in the happiest place on earth, and it just like instantly brings me back to laying in bed with my mom, playing guitar and me singing with her. So Derek sent me this version, which it was on The Voice, Thunderstorm Artiste.
From North Shore.
From Haleiwa, North Shore. Probably like over a week ago you sent that to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I can't yet. Like I'm too, like I knew that it would put me in a place of like, you know, the song makes me emotional, and also just really good vocals make me emotional. And so the two together, like this song that's extremely sentimental, and this just like kid who just like rips and wails, and his voice is like insane. Like I watched it finally last night, and I like texted you and then threw my phone in the river after. Something interesting, strange or interesting about you.
I used to own a clothing brand, but I have like no fashion. No sense of, I would say that.
Facts.
You know Jordan guys, like even Ty, even brother, they would tease me that I had like a high hairline even in high school. They would.
I know something interesting about you.
What?
That was like, I recently realized you do really good impersonations of people.
Should I do my Mahee right now?
Yeah, I was gonna say either Mahee.
Instead of just telling me what the conversation was, like you do the whole voice. And
my wife is like, come on with so they went to the thing and it was bad, okay. Or I get people like, hey, do the impression again, do the impression again.
Guarantee people in the comments are going to be asking for impressions. Real estate horror story.
Well, we have one going right now, unfortunately. I don't even want to get into it on the channel, but seemingly a non-disclosure of a material fact that might end up going to court. That's a horror story, but maybe a more lighthearted one. My client was sitting like right there with me and was like pressure, like talking to me, and I'm trying to do the admin for her offer. I'm rejecting one offer and counter offering another and getting the deal stitched up. And I sent the wrong offer to the wrong person because like, it's my fault. There's no blame or victim mentality. But part of the equation was she's like sitting right there and I'm like, okay, like trying to do my work, and then I sent it to the wrong person. We ended up learning that these buyers that were hired were not actually being authentic. They had multiple offers out. They were gonna cancel anyway, so it worked out. But in the moment, I was like melting. Like, you learn from pain, right?
Yes.
So you gotta feel the pain a little bit. Like my mentor says, like, there's no need for you to pay for that mistake I've already paid for, either monetarily or through pain. That's the price of the education in business, right?
Yeah.
Is mistakes.
What makes you cry?
Okay, I'm gonna try to describe this and not actually go there.
Oh.
But I also lost my mom almost 9 years ago. I came back from this jiu-jitsu tournament and they were like, Derek, you need to fly home now. And I was like, what? Something shifted, mom's cancer came back, you need to fly home. So the next day I flew out and I spent 2 weeks where my mom went from like a person to no longer with us. And I was by her side the whole time except for maybe a few hours. I went to Red Lobster to get her like a final meal. So I left the hospital for that, and then I went out to like my auntie guy's like mobile home in the parking lot for a few hours. Other than that, I did not leave that hospital side. And see, I can already. But there's a certain, when you have cancer and you're starting to lose functions, certain things happen, and it's like concentrated. It's like this size in my memory, but if you put water on it, yeah, I can go there, my mom. And then right now one of my reasons for working hard is to take care of my dad, who's older, so.
Yeah.
Enough on that. Use the bathroom.
The manliness.
I know.
Yeah, so we're gonna get